You're listening to Eritrean Society podcast. Today we have a fearless, intelligent young woman who says if you win, she wins. She's lighting up Instagram with her videos, encouraging others to go out there and take action. She herself is taking action. Co-owner of a charity called Amanet, an Eritrean grassroots-led charity in Germany helping suffice a better Eritrean community. You may recognize her from Love You Erina Lye YouTube channel that's got over 600 million views. She helped aid. She's had her own show called Backstage with Wintu, currently studying physics in university, and she's just about to launch her own business, Wintu. Our guest is Wintana Welday, and this is Eritrean Society, inspire and motivate. So I want to ask you about yourself. Who is Wintana?
So let me start with the start. I've been raised in Germany. I was born in Germany. And currently I'm in uni, enrolled as a student of physics. I work at the site for the university as a assistant in scientific matters. And then I have my passion projects, which some of the audience might know me of, Lye.tv, Instagram, on social media platforms, managing.
Yeah. So before we get into that, I mean, when you was a child, when you was young, what was your goals? What was your aspirations? What was your dreams?
I remember at one point I wanted to be a president. I don't want to be a president no more, but I remember I used to want to be a president. And then on the contrary, I used to want to be an actress as well. So right now I'm somewhere in the middle.
So talking about right now, I mean, what are your goals now? What do you feel like maybe you have achieved, or what are your goals now? What are your goals?
Okay, my goals, I have many goals, but my most important goal is to be able at one point to feel happy, nevertheless, to because my aspirations, I have that place above low, because as human beings مش كلها ناس معبلين نفتن كنعبي بزخنا منقدي. But at the core, I think it's only because I wanted to feel happy and I wanted to feel love, and I'd like to be pro at skipping the journey and to feel the feeling I aspire to now, and the goal as a byproduct. That's how I want to define my present goals.
Yeah. Even your Tigrinya speaking is like A1, if that's the right word. Like it's really good. But I know when you was on Lye.tv, I think you was getting comments and stuff like that. They were telling you like stop.
Rest in peace, Tigrinya.
But I mean, it's really good. And so how did you learn that when you was young? Did it come from the community? Did you go to Tigrinya school when you was young, or how did you?
I get that the question a lot, but I never know how to answer it shortly because it's a long one. So if I may,
go for it.
Before I started kindergarten, أبغى تدني نزاربني because sure ولدين بعلم في German أيام الأخوان نيران, you know.
Yeah.
And أنا again kindergarten مستمركو German سعيروني, and that's also the time when my parents started to speak more German anyway because of work, and my parents went to training or something. I don't quite remember. So then German won in our household. Ginkani, like it's a common here. I don't know for you guys. we go to Beit Mertis Sembed or
Yeah.
Tigunya Timirti, and then either you go into a private one for your community, or you go to the ones from church. For me, it was the community one, so we went there every Friday. It started with me, like I was I was in the first class ever taught Tigunya, and we went there, but we didn't go to learn Tigrinya, right? We just went because we like to hang out with our friends.
Yeah.
And also our parents, like I talked to, like they didn't take it too seriously because their prior goal was having us together with other Eritreans. That was the main goal. And of course, Tamahir Naina, Bebu, Ha, He, we know how to read, but back then we don't even know what that meant. Like it took us years to finish a sentence to read, but then again, we didn't know what we were saying at all, just because we memorized the letters. And after that, I noticed I love Zemana, like melody, Eritrean melody, pentatonic. It hit me differently. I can't explain how.
How old was he then?
That's how I... 12, I think like 10, 11, 12, like that. It was very young. And the whole English phase, like Beyonce, Destiny's Child and whatnot, it all went by me. I never, like, it never caught up with me. Even, like, you might laugh. He's a respected artist, but Tupac was not a name for me, like, until a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And so I think that I had something in the back of my head because as a little child, I only know how to speak Tigrinya, like until I was 3 years old. And then like Zema Khatamali to me, and it's like it matched. It felt like a match. I don't know. It matched. It felt authentic to me to listen to that instead of other languages or other kind of music. And then I started working for Member TV, and that's also how the majority of the people know me from. And from backstage Wintu is that then I started to actually live the Eritrean life because all of a sudden I'm surrounded by Eritrean people.
Yeah.
But like 1 year before that, it's just been one black girl in all high school. You know, it was a cultural shock, I must say. But that's how like Daldilo.
Yeah.
I had the prior knowledge in the back of the head, and then I had my interest anyway, and then I had a place to live it.
You was brought up in Frankfurt, wouldn't I? I would expect that Frankfurt would be like, if I remember rightly, that it's like a Eritrean hub. Like there's a lot of Eritreans in Frankfurt. In Germany, Frankfurt would be like the Eritrean hub for. Yeah. So there was a sense of community. Like everyone can trust each other, and what was that growing up in Frankfurt? How was that like in Germany?
It's a difficult question to answer because I don't know anything else. That's the thing. I know a little bit about Eritrean life because of dramas and my family stories and whatnot. But it's good. I like the system. I know the system. I feel home here. Yeah. Of course, I like to go back to Eritrea one day. But
I get what you're saying. Yeah. Your Instagram page, that's where I wouldn't say found you, but it's where, the social media kind of stuff when you're scrolling and you see something and this looks interesting, this sounds interesting. If you could tell the people listening, what do you do? That Instagram page, what is it about?
It's about reminding my friends online that their power lies within, even in tough times, that you still have the responsibility because you are able to respond. I always like to say that. I know it's cliche, but to choose. You always have the right to choose and the power to choose. And I share my insights, my own remedies I use on myself, some relieving quotes I like to share. I want it to be a safe place, a warm place for people to go to have it as an anchor, because I know social media is an instant thing,
Mhm.
and you get distracted a lot.
Yeah.
But I want to serve some sort of um,
Purpose for people, or
purpose and stability. Yeah,
because
that's what I want to.
when I was watching, it was like it was thoughtful. You thought about the questions that you was asking your the people that were following you. You had conscious questions rather than it being like materialistic. You had thoughtful questions, like you had questions about you asked about self-love. um you asked just before Christmas, I think there was 3 weeks to Christmas, what do you want to
Yeah,
achieve just before
yeah,
the new year.
yeah.
What
um, so مش قال لك كان زي حدش عملت انتمتو ازاي عملت زي انا ياخذ خون
yeah,
زين قصة سنة زين خطة قبري ازاي علم عملت متحالفة خاني ابزي ابو تخبط في حين. And I think like 70% of the people who do that on New Year's Eve fail, just because it's not from a place of commitment. It's a place of, it's a habit. On New Year's Eve, I'm going to say that, but everybody knows there's not and I wanted to save some of my friends from that disappointment. You know,
yeah,
whenever you start something, you have to start it in the mind and then also with the heart. You start with the mind and it goes to the heart, but that takes time and you have to do it consciously. So I was just preparing them for New Year's Eve with the thing, with the undertone of, hey, if you want to start something, then you can do it now too. Just do something that you taten abalka. It is the laha yaskun hisab. That's the only task. It is the laha hisab money, or hisab the money, and then it's a abzain celestial التكبير and تخلي نجرني, and do that before New Year's Eve. So then on New Year's Eve, you don't even have to say something about it because you're living your change already.
yeah,
Because it only takes a little step, but I wanted to get them from head to heart to a little step for them to believe that they can go even further. Because right now we are in a bubble of, oh shit, sorry, oh
okay.
dang, daily struggles. Like I have to do that. Okay, we know that.
Mm.
What is it that you're truly inspiring for you? And then break it down into a little step that you can take tomorrow or now.
Okay. What have you chosen this type of content? You could make anything, to be honest. I mean, you're talented, so you could do any type of content. So what made you choose this type of specific content?
Of course it does interest me, but I always feel in purpose when I feel like I can give back. And I don't think at the moment that there is anything more important than mental health. And it's not because mental health is the most important thing in the world. No, it's just the most essential thing in the world. And to so many people, it's still a strange thing. It's still something out of their mind. Like what I talk about is to me or to many other people a very simple thing or a very understandable thing, but I feel very sad when I look at my peers, like Eritrean people, and I feel like that they are left behind. So I don't want that to happen. and it's an that's why I chose it, because I think that's the thing that would help our society the most. And I don't want to put it on a big pedestal or anything, or make it only about Eritrean society. Mm, but I do believe that the content that I deliver is purposeful or serving in an essential way, which is lacking.
It's lacking, yeah, because
And I
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
because I feel like that's um, I want to say the reason for our problems, because we don't take ourselves um, seriously, or the signs that we are shown seriously enough.
In your social media account, I mean, you talk to your when you're speaking to your guests or your followers, um, the questions you ask them is like about their identity, their idea of self, and to make sure to go and produce and go and do. Like if you have an idea or you have a passion or you want to be somewhere, you just go and do it. Action. Give them like that positive mindset. You don't tell them to listen to music that's not going to affect you positively, or not to have that, to make sure that your subconscious mind is actually in a positive frame of mind. Lessons in life, accountability. Who do you target? Who's who are the people that you're looking to target, if that's the right word? Who are you trying to attract?
Myself, my past self, actually, and I believe everyone has a little past Wintana in them. That needs some attention, some healing, and some compassion. So that's who that is for.
So who is the past Wintana? What do you mean by that? Like, who's the past Wintana?
As I said, the past Wintana is not. It's not about me. It's someone who's in everyone, and I think every person has had some experience that left them shook, or that left them, or that was traumatic to them, or that has broken them down for some time. And I think that's like, it's not the best thing that it can happen to one, but I think that's the thing that propels one or accelerates one to the next level. And I dig that and I love that. But if people fail to see it as an opportunity, they end up going downwards instead of upwards. And I always want to show them, like, hey, where you are at right now is a fork. Like, how do you say that in English? Zumakal Magadiu,
Yeah.
You can say send me, like you can go up, or you can say I fall and you go down.
Yeah.
Anything shocking happening, or any trauma endured is a crossing section. Like, you can choose now.
Yeah. What got you there? I mean, what got you to actually think like that? Like, what made you?
I have been, of course, I've been through my own things. I've been confronted with some situations, some relationships, some obstacles that have left me like wondering, what is life? Like, do I want to be here? Is that something for me? Is that something I even asked for? Who put me here? Why am I here? I don't think that I want to be here. Like, all these questions have been put inside of me. And I'm like because I did my classes, I had my support system, I did do when I was really bad, like when it hit me really badly, when I think I was at the lowest, I started my yoga training, and it was a call of duty, I think, because I wasn't feeling well. I wasn't well health wise too, and I was in in the metro one day عندما like جازان دخلت كويك بصراحة دقا كوريان كله عند حلفنا I saw like a poster of yoga training starting tomorrow and I حاسة كله إنه هماني like شان وريدة it's not even my stuff وريدة كسرته I went in there and said I'm gonna enroll and she was like who are you
Yeah.
you don't know me but you will know me yeah so
was that like, was you in a would you like in a state of depression and you was looking for something and you found yoga?
Exactly. Because I wasn't diagnosed. I wasn't diagnosed with anything mental. I only know of my diagnosis physically.
Yeah.
So I can't say I've been depressed or I had anxiety. I can just tell you what I felt, and it felt like I had depression or anxiety issues. And I went to states of apartheid. Do you know, like you are there but you're not really there, like you like
yes.
and it was a state that lasted too long. Like it was scary to me. So I started the yoga training, and it really did open up my mind to a lot of new perspectives.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about what made you depressed, or should we just not go there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we shouldn't go there because I don't think that it would help people. I mean, I can say because I'm not afraid of it. I just don't think it's gonna help my friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that issues with boys, like or for you, issues with girls who didn't have that, or work-wise, I've been under a lot of pressure during that time because, you know, me, I didn't have any degree in economics. I didn't have anything to do with business or marketing or accounting. And then all of a sudden I had to do all of it, you know. And then, of course, on top of that, I had, because I was a child, literally, I was a child, I didn't know nothing. And then I was thrown into the world of artistry and people of art. And then my Tigrinya was broken too. It's not that I could speak the way I can now back then. It's different. So it was a lot. It was like, what? Where? Huh? So it was like that. And of course, then on top of that, like personal relationship wise, boys, I terrify you. Like even like mish up if you are for the first time in the world and to be seen, a lot of people are going to approach you. You have no idea who they are. And video. So I had to deal with a lot of that. And yes, I've been because that's gonna come up. I know that I've been through the alcohol thing too.
Oh
so there was a lot of.
So there was a lot of backlash from.
There was a lot from nothing ever interesting happening in my life to, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I've been through a lot of obstacles, which I think are good that it happened to me because I could handle it.
Yeah.
And I'm back out of it now too. I'm healthy. I'm doing well actually, and I can't wait to share all that I know because I know it saves lives.
I mean, I sympathize with it. I feel well when you talk about things like that because it kind of it's exactly why I wanted to do it. These are the reasons why I wanted to do it. It's because like I'm listening, I'm hearing you, and it's almost similar in the States because I can not only agree with you, but I can sit where you are because I have had myself. I have
it does
lost.
Resonate.
Yeah,
it's
I think.
Human experience.
Everyone has these experiences, and then I can feel from it and actually I understand where you're coming from, and sometimes I think it is good for the listeners to actually hear it and actually take some sort of understanding for it, because there is this discussion about depression and things like that, which I didn't have in part of my questions. There was anything to do with depression, but obviously it's got us here. But I agree with most of the things that you're saying, and for me it was the things that you said, like the slumber state, feeling out of body, just feeling away from everything. It kind of, I understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. And it's sad because I believe I can't know, but I think I think everyone has gone through it. But the sad thing is that everyone thinks that it's just them, and it's not the truth. It's far from the truth. And if we could be just a bit more open about what we went through, we would save months, if not years, of work for other people. Because I believe you don't have to go through the experience yourself if you can listen to another person's experience and learn from it. If the person can deliver to you, like, I've been through a lot, but I know this is the truth. And if you apply that truth to your life, you can save yourself from that. You don't have to go through that.
Yeah. I had a guest on, Dr. Mana, and in her book she wrote, asking yourself why are you doing this? Why do you want to do it? Like, and I think in the same sense of what you're saying, is like that crossover from having that depression and then asking yourself these questions, and then it's like, why am I here? What's going on? And then actually making some sort of impact, and then actually doing the action, which you obviously talk about action, about making sure that you go and do it. And something like yoga, how did you get into yoga? Mm-hmm. I would say a German East African girl, how does she get into yoga? And what is yoga?
Yeah. Oh, wow. So I did get into yoga because I needed escape. I needed to escape my own reality, and yoga was that world of Zen.
Yeah.
I felt like if I go in there, I'm going to be like healed or whatever. And so that's how I came about it. But prior to these 2 years, yes, I've been to some courses in the fitness studio or whatnot, but it wasn't part of my life. But now yoga to me is a lifestyle. I don't see it as a religious thing or whatever. I just see it as a practice that helps me control my body, my emotions, my mind, and my breath through my breath.
Yeah.
So I try to unite all layers. I see myself as an onion. I see that as a uniting practice that helps me press all these layers of me together.
How long have you been doing yoga, and do you teach yoga as well, if I'm right to say?
Yeah. So I've been an instructor for 2 years now, but my teaching is on and off. I do that for my friends because I like to have them feeling well. But I am planning on actually currently doing my business in the world of yoga. Yeah.
Okay. So do you do in a class? What would a they're gonna have to pay for it, right? What is yoga to you? What is it to you?
Pardon?
What is yoga to you? How do you?
Oh, it's a break button. It's a pausing button. Because you know how, like, during our days we communicate with others and we give like A and B, A and B, A and B, and when we go to answering one's question or reaction to them, we do react most of the time. like we prepare our answers while they are even finishing talking to us. And I see yoga as that button of, okay, now break. Did I hear what he said? Did I hear what he said? Did I listen? Or am I just in a reaction mode? Do I just react? So it takes me from reaction mode to responding mode. It's that break pause where I figure, or where it's like a maintaining thing, where you have your triggers at bay. You know that you are a trigger walking around there. You're a walking bomb. Like everyone is a walking bomb. If you just get the right trigger, you're going off. But it's for me to keep that at bay and to have them under control.
Would you say yoga's kept you calm? Because when you talk about triggers, like obviously we'll talk about things about the negative impacts in your life, but when you talk about triggers, would you say that you've become calm from yoga? Yoga's given you that kind of essence where you can be relaxed and not take action in certain negative impacts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, but I've always been a calm person. It didn't change with yoga. I've always been a calm person, but it made me a balanced person. So أنا خمسة كم أنا يريد نقرأ كذا بخيل يوغا كتبرن كله it makes me healthy, because being calm, like, it has a connotation of a good thing. It doesn't mean it's good. It's just that you're quiet. Maybe you're suffering maybe inside. Nobody will know. I'm still calm. However, it's nothing unhealthy lying inside of me, boiling without anybody knowing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've got a feeling you've got an angry side. I've got a feeling you've got like a feisty side.
I've got a fire side. I have a fiery side too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it did help me too, because then I'm more confident now to express my fiery side more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know it's coming only from a good place and no bad consciousness.
Yeah, not a yeah. When we discuss about you've got a fiery side and stuff like that, but when we talk about this stuff, you have someone that basically gives you accountability. Like obviously we all have ourselves where we take actions and we account for things that, you know, whether we've done right or wrong, but, you know, taking accountability. What is taking accountability for you? What is accountability? And we'll get into that as well.
Okay. محزنات, I swear. محزنات is the bondage, which is one of the most important relationships that I take care of. And it's عندما حزينة ليديانا تفرطيها and she is me, I am her. Like, we don't see ourselves separate anymore, because she holds me accountable whenever I am not doing what I'm saying to do, but she does it with compassion. Also, she takes care of me, even though we live apart from each other. She knows exactly how I feel and what I need, and she tells me that. Always from a place of love, but I tell her, and that is the thing. That's why I always tell my friends online too. Mahaza, Arki, it's the therapy you will never have to pay for.
Yeah.
And I think our parents' generation, most of them, not all of them, most of them kind of are good, you know, they're okay. You know, and I think because my mom's friends are her sisters.
Yeah.
Like Tefeli Ayri cousin. They are them, They are her and she is them. Like it's one, because without telling me, they taught me that a woman, and it's got to be the same for men too. That you have to have someone you tell them everything. You can tell them everything too, because that's a therapist. How parents are doing that for free, and that's the relationship Lidiana and I cherish so much.
I mean, it's not really easy to express yourself openly to people, whether they be strangers or even your friends and family. Sometimes you may have a difficulty in saying something that you want to say, but it may make tension if that's right. It might make some sort of problem that you just don't want to have to deal with. But how do you
I get that.
How do you overcome that? How do you overcome you saying freely what you want to say and taking accountability? Because there are people out there that they can't do it. They can't do it. Even when they know they're in the wrong, they can't come and say, admit, apologize. I mean, how do you take that accountability? How do you do that? How do you deal with it? How do you make it happen?
It's so true, because ብዙሓት እዮም ዝብሉኒ ያ ኩሉ ግዜ ማሓዛ ግበሪ ትብሉኒ or ዓርኪ ግበሪ ትብሉኒ ግን ከዓ ዘይእመን ግዜ ኢና በፅሕናዮ ዘለና እቲ ሰበብ እቲ ሕጂ ንሪኦ ዘለና ኣይእመንን ዝእመን ማሓዛ ኣይትረክብኒ ኢኻ ዝእዋን bla 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 yeah true ምክንያት እዩ ዝንዲ and I always say that ምክንያት would be okay. You know that is going to help you a lot. So what are you going to do for that? Yeah, because you have to earn a friend. حر معزة كتركسي واقع كتكفل لك واقع كتكفل بعدين كنقص بقوع كتهون لك حر معزة كتفلو نسبسي حر معزة كتفلو it's كبور and you have to work on yourself to be honorable enough to have your friend by your side, to say to people, she's my friend. You have to work for that. And that's what people don't see, because they only want, but they forget that they have to give first. But in order to give, you have to be full yourself. So that's what I say. Do your homework first. In order to have someone you can trust fully, you have to be the kind of person to be trusted fully. And I always have to say also, it's coming from a place of love, okay? It's not that you don't deserve that. You do deserve a friend. You go back, you know, like it is something you are born with, or the right you are born with. That's something, yeah. It's a certainty. It's a deliousy. So I can try to you have to understand sometimes too, and not only them but yourself. So I always set them back to, okay, maybe it's not your time to have a friend now, maybe it's your time to work on yourself, and the friend is going to come too. That was for me.
So I want to talk about
for Lidiana too.
I want to talk about those two things. One, that you tell your people that listen to you, or people that are watching you on Instagram, that they can message you and they can say to you, you know, like the accountability partner, they can actually talk to you and have this corresponding. I mean, you must get like hundreds of people like messaging you and telling you their deepest, darkest like secrets and fears and accomplishments and goals. You must have these kind of like, this is too much. Like they're telling me, you know, this happened and this, and it's even sometimes maybe overwhelming for you to actually hear. I mean, how do you cope with that? How do you deal with that?
That's another lesson I had to learn. It's boundaries. And to know your boundaries. So whenever I hear of people, and I have to say, I love my friends because they trust me, and I feel like it's a special bond that I have with them. Because whenever they slide into my DMs, it's never anything bad, really, never. It's only positive things. Okay, it's a situation about positive. It's always from a place of honesty and transparency, and I cherish that. And I that's also what I tell them to do, which I need to practice too, right? To know my boundaries. So whenever they come to me with their own insecurities or life stories, which can be very baffling, I have to remind myself that this is only something I can help with somebody for long cycling. That's also something that, like, the helper syndrome people tend to have. I have that. But I know that, okay, if that person is going to tell me all of their things, first of all, I'm going to feel honored. They trust me. But second of all, I need to differentiate my life from their life. And just because I can't face them, it doesn't mean that I have to feel bad for how well I am doing. That's always something I need to remind myself. But yeah, it's not hard for me to hear because I know what is me and what is not me.
Yeah.
So that's also how I think that I'm a good accountability partner because I take myself seriously, hands down, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And also, when we talk about accountability partners, you also say, which I agree with, is to love yourself first. You can't love others until you've enabled yourself to love yourself first. Can you explain that? Can you explain that to the people what that actually means? And
that is the تقدرت point تسمعني because there is the connotation in our society that Eritrean society that you're not supposed to think of yourself, right? Because that's selfish. Can be نفسها مستوسع كم حماقنا نوصله الحرة which is far from the opposite. And because I know the difference for when you're truly capable of helping someone or when you're trying to help someone while yourself is hardly surviving,
Yeah.
And that's صعبين خالو نكونوا بعلو مخنياتو اتي بوثا غادي كونك تحجز مثلغا it has an aftertaste of kinta, like it makes you resent even the person you're helping because you are hating yourself that you're helping someone because you're not helped yourself first.
Yeah.
So that's not making any sense because A, yourself is suffering. B, you're doing it half-heartedly. C, your person is probably going to, feel it and has a bad conscience too because they know that you are going out of your way to help them. That's not something not nice. I would not like to receive help from someone who's barely surviving. I would feel bad too.
Yeah.
And then B, the relationship to your friend after that help you did to them, you are going to take a step back from that person because there was too much. Why? To wear a mask? Nah. Take off that mask, deal with yourself first, tell that person at the moment يغريتها ولو النادى اللي هو يكلني إذا نعيك هسيني نزم بناخ عاد هسنا قرت له هنا أنا ناتي خطبر على نازوانو بي جينا خاء سلازة الأقاقا يكونن أنت أروها ماني سلازة فتوكاتي كبرت كأتي زمدنا سلازة خورم كاني I would prefer, even if I'm the one who's the recipient of the help, I would admire that kind of honesty. And even if that person is not able to receive بطوله okay حديك سمعني وانا قالت دحني كمل سويه مش حاجه نبال is the wiser thing to do.
Okay, so
next to Hamastau is nothing bad. It's the wording is even wrong. Next to Hamastau, it doesn't sound nice.
It doesn't.
Even
Yeah.
self-love. I don't like the word self-love because you don't have to love yourself when self is love already. Like وش تغسي? If you are healthy, you're supposed to be love only, you know?
Yeah.
So you don't have to practice self-love because when you come from a healthy place, yeah, you will take the shower every day. You will go take the class you need to take. You will take the you will study now instead of one day prior to the class to the exam.
Yeah.
You will be on the phone with your friends. You will get up off the bed. You know, it's nothing you have to do consciously. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
self-explanatory to me. If you say I need to practice self-love, you are telling me I بتحكي عن الله. And that is also a place, you know, that's also something fine. But
Yeah.
don't mix it up. Don't mix it up.
I mean, it's not negative to
No,
you're basically
it's not.
healing yourself in a sense. You're healing yourself. You're providing yourself
Yeah.
with an opportunity to be the best you, and in doing that,
Mhm.
you can help others from actually
Yeah.
being hitting like getting their potential.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the our universe, our inner universe,
Mhm.
you decided to study matter, and
Yeah.
not only do you discuss about certain matters that deal with our social not economy but our social impact in life, but you also talk about, I wouldn't say talk about, but you also study
Yeah.
physics. What got you
Yeah.
there? How did you get to that place where you're studying physics?
um, Kabbalistic Koloku, it was always something interesting to me because I thought of physics as the whole truth. I thought physics is the whole truth, and it fascinated me because I like hakimet. Like I think it's a fascinating idea to to find your purpose in finding the truth,
Yeah.
and that's why I study physics.
And do you teach physics in a sense? Are you like you said an assistant?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Um, I don't I don't teach. I am as the um so accelerator. It's an electron accelerator. Is that a thing in English? I was just translating word by word.
Okay, it doesn't sound familiar to me. I don't have a clue about.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's a facility from the university in which the professors, they study the behaviors of the matter going through a huge pipeline,
I get you now.
and
I know what you're talking about. But go ahead, please explain. Sorry.
yeah. So and there are different experiments to study the material even better, and we have people coming from all over the world to use our pipes.
Technology. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
To do their own research, and I assist them.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. It sounds interesting as well. What got you? What got you there? What got you to studying physics and actually becoming that part of the universe? I guess.
Yeah. Because well, I see life, and it all sounds like, oh, she thinks too much. I do. Because it's all planned out. I figure while I'm telling you, it's coming to me. But I see everything as dual, and I like to practice all my facets that I have. And I think I have a mental facet, not just me, everyone.
Yeah.
I have a mental side, I have an emotional side, I have a um, soul side, I have a flesh
Yeah.
side. And I like all of them to be trained. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And physics just trains my brain so well that I keep on doing that. Just such as yoga trains my body well, I do that. Such as writing um, trains my emotional intelligence so well. I do that, and now I'm doing it. I don't write anymore. I also speak it,
Yeah.
um, and that's on a different level now that I am practicing my emotional self. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes that total sense. Because yoga,
Yeah.
yoga. Do you have to study about chakras and things like that in yoga? Do you have to kind of explain to your students, I guess, or people that are doing yoga? Do you have to explain to them the chakra systems and mantras and meditation, how that works? And because yoga,
Yeah.
when people hear about yoga, they just hear about, okay, it's stretches, it's a sort of stretches, but I think
Yeah.
they don't understand that there is these elements to it.
So yoga كمثل نحن نفولتو كم دي سبورت يودو مثلا. You go up and down and you stretch and have thin arms. Like, I don't know, like that's the thing. No. Yoga actually is مقديو, okay? أبا حنت مقدد they كنت شمت مقدد له.
Yeah.
And they actually call it the eight petaled flower.
Yeah.
And
Lotuses.
because there's exactly because مقلتيو نتي عينت دلونا يونا نتي نحنا كم yoga إنه فلتو حنت مقديو ترى. And that's called hatha yoga. That's the practice of the body, the flesh. Okay, so it's always the aim of any path to acquire enlightenment, not to, I don't know even how to say that in Tanzania. It sounds horrible in Tanzania, but it's like to become one in yourself. And yoga in the hatha way and the exercise way is aimed to control the breath throughout the movement, because it is believed that the breath connects flesh and soul. Yeah. So it's ተነፈስናሲ መላገቢ ስጋን መንፈስን ምዃን እዩ ድነግረካ ዮጋ. Even up, we don't have to go into religion, but መጽሐፍ ቅዱስ እውን like ሰብ ክፍጠር እንከሎ what was the last part and the most vital part for us to make us human? ንፋስ ደንፈሽ እናመጣው.
Okay.
You know, we were blessed by putting the breath into our noses.
Yeah.
So I think that's a beautiful parallel, and that's why I love yoga a lot. The hatha yoga, very ብዙ አይነት አለው. Meditation yoga አለው. Bhakti yoga aለው, which is like serving. That's also kind of the type of yoga, to give up your own ideal, your own ego, and to be a purposeful, fully servant. That's also a choice you can do. And komudu bela shamoto meditatallo ማለት ነው.
So do you meditate?
So there are different kind of schools. Yes, I do meditate.
I mean, did you find it difficult at first, or was it you got it? Because I think it's not easy to do it if you're from the city, if you're a city person.
Yeah. No, it's ከቢድ ኒሮ ምክንያቱ እቲ meditation እንታይ ምዃኑ ኩማንያ ይርዳእኒ ኒሮ ተሽዑ. To be honest, I was just like trying to be cute and be Mexican. No? Done? You know?
Yeah. I mean, that the silence in your voice. I mean, in your mind, it's the silence in your mind. I mean, it's not. I mean, they say it's achievable, but have you ever got into that kind of period where you did get silence, you did get that peace, that inner peace?
It's always so hard for me to compare it with others, because I would never call it enlightenment, because I don't know what that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But silence, I think I did have the pleasure to experience. It's very hard, especially for city people, because we are never taught to shut down the chatter. And that's all that is about any kind of yoga. It's always about release about shutting down the chatter, the voices in your head. That is not you. The aim is to get in touch with you. That itself is an abstract question, abstract task. That's why hence so many ways, because everyone can find another path to get to their own self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And ንዓና ብፍላይ ኣብ ከተናዝኣለና ከከብደና እዩ ኣብቲ መጀመርያ ምክንያቱ ንሕና እንታይና እንመሃር ካብ ብቆልዑና ትምሃር ሕሰብ ኣሎ ወሲንካ ሕሰብ ኣሎ ወሲንኪ ሕሰብ ኣሎ always think of it. Now I'm a scientist. Science all the time, you have to think. You know, so since we are programmed to think, it is very hard to shut off the program, you know, because it is so much enabled in our psyche. And but it does it takes humble acquirements. Don't be like, I'm gonna sit down for 20 minutes every day. No. You're gonna get burned because it's never gonna work. Rather start with 30 seconds. I'm telling you, 30 seconds, 3 seconds after مجمرة نفسها كتهدأ كتفتن. لعلي أخمان علي كمان أيهلوا كانوا maybe if you've been a bit practiced.
Yeah.
But yoga is about بتشجعني خدك من تدقمو.
Is there yoga in Tigrinya? Is there a type of yoga? I know there's mesmora and things like that where, you know, there's this type of...
you know, monks practice yoga.
Yeah.
I can't, even to say like they practice yoga can be different to you, but يزغرن in yoga, you know, because نسم ساعات كل يوم ندرسوا ساعات 3 ساعات 4 ساعات 5. And why? To pray. And that prayer doesn't look like our prayer. Like, oh God, please, no. They understand that there's different layers of us, and they direct their prayers to
tune into it.
They tune into it, like actually, and they tune into their psyche according to time. You know, that's also mind blowing to me because it's very knowledgeable. أنا حدي رفضت الله هو كل جزء نقول جزء كم دلوا نقوله عقلنا كم دلوا نقوله درجة كم دلوا you know they live it.
Yeah.
So to me that's another way of yoga. Yeah.
You basically you said when you was young.
Even for no I'm sorry I would even for mosques. I was looking for the English word. They have that same thing. They do their prayers at specific times because they know that they're tuning into something. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure that they know what they're doing. So it's very interesting.
It's enlightenment, right? It's enlightenment.
I figure so. I figure that they اتجزئوا نبعلوا زخنا ترجمكم دلو ترديوم على مثلني. You know.
Yeah.
I have been doing my studies too well to be speaking of it, but it's something that it's been with me since I've been a little girl because I've been Muzamran. I don't know, like I went to church because I think it was so like mesmerizing and it was so perfectly planned out that I knew, even though I couldn't cognitively know, but I knew that this is of something higher, that like that this is nothing that they thought of, but this is something precious.
You said when you was younger, Eritrean music captured you when you was at 12, and then now you're doing yoga. Do you have this? Do you have mantras? Is that the right way of saying it? Mantra, where you say things over to yourself, or you sing aloud. Or is that a totally different yoga kind of system?
It's also a practice to practice yoga is also something you can do. أنا كان I جبر كون الله مهنياتو مستي عرفتي بزوح يتسكتكون. You know, I have like I didn't get into the matter of mantra. I get what that is, but it's not something I've been practicing or researching enough for me to try it because يخبدني. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
it's something very beautiful, and it's so beautiful. I don't want to disrespect it by just doing it because I feel like it. You know what I mean? And እንታይ ግን እሱ ይዘኻኽረኒ ምስ እንታይ ኢላገቦ ማህሌት no ቤተክርስቲያን any kind of institution, religious institution that say that you like ማህሌት አለው and you say like and then everyone says the same thing for straight up 10 minutes, you know. That's a mantra to me, because by the end of it, because I've been to church myself, I know how that feels, and I think it's the exact same thing because I've tried mantra singing before with other people when I was in a workshop, and I did get out of the room with the same feeling. You feel disconnected from your body. You forget everything because you are in a state of meditation. You sang yourself in a state of meditation, and you use tones that vibrate with certain parts of your body. And that's, I think, like, wow.
Yeah. To move to that, to what you're saying about vibration, sound, music. What is music to you? What does music mean to you?
Okay, so ሙዚቃ ከምቲ ብጣዕሚ ጽቡቕ ዝበልኮ ብጣዕሚ ሕማቕ እውን ክኸውን ይኽእል እዩ. It's very powerful, and I'm afraid that people are not aware of it. ስኢሎም ዝሰምዑ ዘለዉ ሰባት ከይትርድኦም እዩ ዝሰምዑ ዘለዉ እዩ ዝመስለኒ ኣነ ከምኡ ስለ ዝነበርኩ ማለት እዩ. And music can rise nations, it can destroy nations. So that's all I have to say for music. But as powerful as it is, as much I love it.
Lye TV. I mean, how did you get to become a member of Lye TV?
Oh, that's straight. So እቲ ዋና ገዛ ንገዛና ጽቡቕ ጌሮም ይፈልጥ እዩ. ብኸምኡ ከዓ ንዓይ ካብ ብንእሽተይ ለይ ይፈልጠኒ ከምዚ ናይ ትግርኛ ባህሊ ኦራ like not ባህሊ but ይሰምዕ ምዃኑ ምስ ፈለጠ he approached me straight up and said ኣነ ከምዚ ገዛ ኣለኹ, maybe you're interested to further explore, and I was like, yes, I'm down.
That's a great opportunity. That's a big opportunity.
Yes, it was one of the biggest opportunities for myself.
So when we talked about your Instagram earlier, you also had a similar show where it was you had this it was called Backstage with Wintu. You had conversations about like first love. You talk about first love, cultural marriages. I think I remember hearing one where you said to your listeners or your streamers or whoever was watching, you'd ask them questions about there's a Muslim girl she's in love with a Christian and she's asking you what to do, and you said listen guys, what can you tell me what she should do, and then you would get these different responses. So you had different topics that you would cover, and it would be to do with a survey. I mean, how did this all come up? How did you get to do such a show? Like, how did this opportunity come about?
So the backstage, it's backstage basically. News honest, backstage. I've never been in front of the camera before that, and it was funny. Because I didn't know I was thrown into a cold pool, but it was a huge experience for me. It was unexpected, but a great lesson, and it helped me understand my people so much due to these surveys. surveys, yeah. And I did I did come up with the idea only because I was in shortage of content. Basically, that's it.
uh, well, it was a good idea. It was a really good idea because it was interesting. I you know me myself, I try my best not to watch other people's content and get to what you call. But I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed watching it, and um, there was a character about you where it was buoyant. You was jumpy, like Ephraim. You turned
What was the word?
buoyant,
Oh yeah, buoyant. Yeah.
like you was up, like you was really lively. And
Yeah.
you'd switch over to Ephraim, who was shy and he didn't want to look at the camera, like he's. So the whole idea, the whole concept of it was good because you'd engage with the people listening in, and
Yeah.
the questions that you would have. I mean, where did you come up with them? How did you know? Today we're gonna talk about Yamane Barriers covers, like this cover. How are we gonna, like, how did you make that happen? Because it was good. I mean, it was getting thousands of views and accumulated it's thousands of views. Yeah.
Thank you. Wow. Well, I had my team, of course, Ephraim, and also ሴቲት ዋና ገዛ ከዓ ኣብ ጀርመን ስለዝነበረት ግን ከዓ ወፃእቲና ስለዝኾነት ኤርትራዊት ኣይነበረትን, so she didn't have much of, like, you know, ኣይርድኦን እያ ነራ ኣይትርድኦን ስለዝነበረት I had to do the creative part. ግን ኣነ ይነግራምሽ ከምዚ እንተጌርና, and she would be saying, oh yeah, we can do that and then do that from that side so we can cover that and that and that. So it was 6 eyes, you know. It was just me in front of the camera, but it was 6 eyes who helped me. It was never scripted. It was never scripted. So it was always one take. Like, I have to say, it was always one take. There was never been an edit. It's been, so that's why I've been so lively, because I was under a lot of pressure to, you know.
It didn't look like he was under pressure. It didn't look like he was under pressure. Like, and it didn't look scripted as well. Compared to my interviews, when I do my interviews, like, they're so scripted that when the
but I must say, like, if I would have gotten the spot to do it this way, I would have been the same. But if you are put on spot, there's no other way. You have to do, you know.
So you had creative license. You had creative license to do whatever you wanted to do. Like, you could have. Yeah. So that's.
Yeah, I could have done whatever I wanted to, and of course it took listening, because I had to engage with the people in the responses. I figured out, okay, this is a topic, because always, like, it's a ሙዚቃ ድወጥ ደሎ ይነግረንዩ, okay, ሕብረተሰብ ናበዩ ደሎ, and the next 5 years I can tell what's going to happen. Not that I can tell, but it gives me a right sense of where we are heading. So that's how I read,
interpreted the and you would say 50%. Where did you get the surveys from? Because you would say 55% has said this and X amount would say this.
It was on the YouTube side. We have, like, the YouTube side, like, I always put the question on the community side, so I would have some, like, engagement, and then after the live I would post the question. And was it during the live? I quite don't remember. But I had them respond to that, and that's where the numbers came from.
Can you still do that with Instagram? Instagram, you can still do a survey, right? You can still.
I do polls all the time. Yeah.
No, it was good. I had to watch all of it. I had to do my research. I had to, like, do so much viewing, and I was like, yeah, very entertaining. It was very entertaining. What happened all day? Like, how come you stopped doing it? Is that something that you want to talk about, or what happened? How come you haven't progressed into more shows?
Yeah. Well, after my team was back, you know, sometimes can you like if you like you're kind of like it's like you're going through the thing like as fast as you can, but you don't realize what's happening.
What's happening? Yeah.
Yeah. To me, that realization came after.
Yeah.
It came after they came back, and I realized, oh shit, what did just happen? Like, شعيو كرداني جميرو.
Yeah.
نسان سمالة سوسي. أنا كحد مسكالكو because before that, like I barely slept for 2 years. I barely slept. It was a major health concern for me too, because I would work until easily 11 p.m. Midnight, and then I would go home, and I wouldn't sleep because I couldn't fall asleep. I didn't know why. Of course, now I know why, because it's been traumatic all the way.
Yeah.
And then I had to do the next show or to do the next music video the next morning, like, and I had to get up at 6 because I have to be there before everyone else, before the artist comes, because I did like welcoming team.
Yeah.
I was makeup, I was stylist, I was sometimes even editor. Like, it was crazy, and I'm not an editor,
Yeah.
So it was challenging. So I guess my health constantly deteriorated with time, unconsciously though, and it just caught up with me.
Yeah.
And then I was, for some time, that was that for some time. Like, I had to get that rest I missed for some months.
No, I get exactly what you're saying. I haven't slept either. It's like it's so. I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think a lot of listeners, when you talk about depression and when you talk about stress and you talk about certain things that it chimes in with people. Like, people understand what you mean and where you're coming from. But when you're talking about media, it's really like there's numbers as well. The numbers game that it's not coherent to me, because I'm trying to.
That didn't. Yeah.
No, but you guys were doing great anyway. So it didn't matter anyway. But it's like there's a lot of things.
But the backlash too. But the backlash too was new to me, because I've never been in front of the camera. Like, not like that, The comments went crazy at the beginning. I was like,
just going to ask you, what was that like? What was the whole you being on camera? You're putting. I don't want to say stressful, because you've put yourself in there, so there is already stress. But you've already said, you've taken action and said, I'm going to be on camera, and I've got these topics, and then these comments start coming up, and like, how do you deal with all that? How do you? I mean, myself, I've had 2 comments the whole of this Instagram page. When I started this, I've only had 2 negative comments, and I deleted them because they weren't disrespectful to me. It was just disrespectful to the people they were talking about. So I had to take it out. But when they're personal, I mean, how do you deal with it?
Honestly, I didn't deal with it. I thought I dealt with it, but I didn't deal with it. I just brushed it off, and I was like, But I wasn't honest with myself. Because I thought, like, if I just don't deal with it, it's not going to be something to deal with. But quite the opposite. Like,
it's chipping away.
Yes, exactly. Because I wish to you deterrif. Like, it. I swear, I don't know how to tell you, but it's like a wound that is grown. You don't even realize that it's there. Yeah. But then one day, something, like, you're on the edge anyway, and then a comment comes up, and you're like, whoosh, So that's when I noticed, maybe it's not that easy on you as you thought it is.
Yeah.
And but that I had to deal with as well. And also the comments, I don't know if that's the same experience you had growing up as an Eritrean in the diaspora, but to me, like Eritrean kuburi, like Eritrean is perfect. Like an Eritrean person is always wise, and an Eritrean person is always humble and respectful, and only has good tongue. Good tongue.
Yeah.
That was the biggest wake up call I had, because it's the like safe vision I had of who I am coming from,
the bubble,
and where I am coming from. The bubble, like it was destroyed. And it was something too late, and I wished like my parents were didn't protect it to the point they did. You know what I mean? Because I think that there are people. First of all, there is magarachawalo, like amungunan abdega zamanan nana kab etrazmetana. Of course, it could be because different mentality and whatnot. But on top of that, expectations is not nice, because I was expecting a perfect response from everybody.
Yeah.
How can I expect that? How can I think of Eritrean on a pedestal? It's not that they are not good people. It's just that people are different throughout any nation.
Yeah.
No? Like, what kind of upbringing is that? To me, it's nonsense now, because I want to be approached or taught frank, not an image. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all that, oh, hawaha, I hisekani, or haftaha, no, they're people, and it is even not fair to put them on that pedestal, because they will never be able to withhold the expectations that I was growing up with. So the shock was even bigger to me.
There was when I watched all these the YouTube stuff as well, and I watched them, like, it's an emotional roller coaster from you laughing, telling them you love them, and then from just breaking down and crying. And then I think the last video was like a response, and that was the last video. I was like, in a way, when I do the research, that kind of upset me, because that was the last video of you, like, on your playlist, because I know you do the playlist. So I know that last video, it was like, oh no, that shouldn't have been your last video. You should have had like another video where just showing your, I don't know how to explain it, but just accomplishment, but having to do that video. Where did that come from? Like, why did you seem to need to react to that? Because you deal with comments all the time on Instagram, you deal with comments on your YouTube. What made you feel like, okay, I have to comment back to that channel?
Yeah.
And why did you decide to do it on Backstage? Like what?
Exactly. Good question. Really good question. But as you can tell, and I'm honest because I want everyone to be more honest. It was here. I didn't know what to expect. To, oh, it's going well. So not so well.
Yeah.
And the last bit was actually a decision I took because I felt that the truth needs to be told. And I know that the truth always wins at last. Do you say that?
Okay, at the end, the truth will always be revealed, right? That's what is that? What
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe in that. But I don't like to be taken not seriously enough, because the conversation which I addressed was with me. So if you go out there and blame the whole company for something I supposedly did, and I hear you saying stuff that was not said that way, and even contracts say other. then I am obliged to say something. And also during that phase, it was a bit overwhelming for me because I was shut down a lot. I couldn't say all I wanted to say because I was fearing for other people's life.
Okay. Yeah.
So I did just want to break that cycle for once.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided it has to be me. It has to be now, and it has to be said. Because I could have sent my uncle, or he's not really my uncle, but I always
I get
like
what
to
you're
call
saying.
him that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I could have tell them to deal with it, but I know that I know the truth only because it was with me. So I took the responsibility to say that, and it felt better, but not good. You know what I mean? Because when you go from a stage of victimized to a stage of rage, you feel better, but you still don't feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I did that for my own sanity, kind of, because it was like, I don't take that anymore.
Your voice, you've opened up. So to have this discussion with you, like to have you on, like I had two minds because the channel is about inspire and motivate, and that's what you do. But I know I don't want I want to represent everyone in the community, everyone in the Eritrean society, and that's why I keep my image away and I put yours forward, and I put the other guests that are there forward. So to do that, I didn't want any kind of I didn't want to put myself in a position where I'm choosing sides, or or it's like the message gets interpreted in the wrong way. But how do you feel when you voice your opinion? When you voice your opinion and you talk about certain subject matters, and you get this like one I think one comment that made you cry, I think, was that the person said, you don't understand how we feel, or where we are. You've never lived our life, so how could you I think is that the right kind of interpretation I got?
Yeah, I think so. Probably, yeah.
And that affected you. But when you get people, when you're trying to voice your opinion and you're trying to speak freely, how you feel, and it gets shut down. I mean, how do you communicate? How do you put a line of passage where you can actually have a Is it making sense? Does that make is that question?
And can you repeat, please? Sorry.
So
I think I understood, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so how do you deal with when you've opened your, basically the question I'm saying is that when you open a certain discussion, how do you deal with the backlash? How do you deal with it? How do you deal with the negative backlash?
Negative backlash. So the comment that the person made that made me cry back then wasn't because I was shut down. It was because I felt what the person said. It was compassion. Because I would like to save everybody, like who wouldn't want that? But the fact that I can't, and to be able to cognitively know that, it hurts. So that's because, I'm here trying to uplift a little bit with backstage, but then someone comes and says, you cannot talk about what we've been through because you've never been through it. It just hits a place within me,
Yeah.
and I get that. So, I would never appropriate someone else's situation. I mean, why would I even want to compare my situation to theirs? It's horrible what they've been through. So, to that. But negative backlash in itself, back then I felt offended because I thought I'm right all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. كل جزء حقنا كم ذلو غير مثلني. And maybe it's a human thing, I don't know, but I put that off now. Like, I don't think that, I know that I have my truth, so that's how that shifted. comes in ناتي حقي كم دلني يرداني إذا أنا كم حقي دواس بجن خون سب حقنا تكوستي I جدا معناته ننعتو تمركز لذلو الدحرة بايتالو it is دهاسيو دعوتو so they're going to define their truth differently than mine, and I'm fine with that now. What I have differentiated now is to listen when someone is actually defending a stance, or if someone has issues communicating their stance. So this is also where people, I think, where we need to do some practice, because emotional intelligence can tell you if that person is talking from a place of, I have my stance, but I respect where you are, where you can talk to them in a neutral way, or if someone gets emotional when they talk because their stance is one of a defense. And if you're defending something, it means you are shielding a wound. And that's where I go a step back, because then I know who is your mama because
so I've told you that this is when I do the recording and stuff, it's actually for me. It's for me to learn. It's for me to take, I'd say, advantage from someone that actually, looks like me, talks like me, has been brought up like me, have the same culture, and like I get to learn from it, take away something, and I record it and I give it to people to watch, to see. That's the benefit for that side. But for me, I learn from you, from others. And like when the whole YouTube game, and you took charge of it, like you took that ownership of actually running a channel that's successful, doing well under pressure. How do you do that? How do you run a channel like LYE? Like how do you do it? Because it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. Like learning marketing, like you're doing your channel itself, and you have to get people to come and view your videos and stuff like that. How did you cope with it?
First of all, I was lucky because, as I said, my team is professional. The Ephraim is a professional videographer, editor, lights. He knows them in and out, such as Saiti Wanagaza.
Yeah.
And as I said, where I had to come in was only to deliver, one, of course, because I'm in front of the camera, but also two was to do some creative things. In I was helped. For example, and that's when I felt like, okay, I got this, because whenever I need something, I can ask them. Because when it came to accounting, of course, I had no knowledge. But then the lady who did our taxes understood the situation, and she took me aside and she said, okay, what I need for you to do is that and that and that and that.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything, but I went there all the time. When I said, okay, come together, and then with time I understood a bit better. And with uploading YouTube content or whatnot,
yeah,
because I had to do that prior to that too. When it comes to
when I had you
marketing,
when I had you on, I have to send you out almost like a contract saying that your visuals and stuff like that, you have to agree to, and stuff like things like that, consent and stuff.
Exactly.
About, legalities and stuff like that. But it's a headache in itself, because it's like, okay, you agree to come on, but how do you Like marketing, okay, like marketing for instance. How do you sort all this out? Paperwork, marketing, making sure that you understand when to roll this out, and social media.
I like to be organized anyway, so it did help me. It did help me with a lot because التشعر music video مش تكبر لك أنا كنت رايحة نكلنا إتن موديلاتات بحريو قال هي بلنا. I was thinking ahead because I had to make them successful. Like I said, I had to make them successful. I had to make them noticeable, you know. I had to, that's my head. So I had to, not yes, I had to excel in marketing to have them be noticed back there where they were. And so I don't know, like the whole I can't tell you, like now even to me I'm like you know, because now I realize what I did. See, I'm putting myself on a pedestal. I don't mean it that way. I just mean that for a little girl who's not experienced at all, it is a lot of work. But I think I was reading a lot about marketing, and with social media, I think I was just lucky because I was natural. I think I understood right away how that works. Like I got what there was to do, and with marketing also حاجزتني because with the playlist we did a lot of attraction because I always had the right playlist ahead for the right mood, you know, and that went well for some time too. And I'm still doing that. I'm actually starting that again because it did work then, so it should be working now. And
Are you going to start your own channel? Do you think you're going to do your own thing? Like learning from that experience, do you think you can do your own thing?
Yeah. I'm actually trying to do that now. And I do yoga myself, so I want to do that a regular thing. So I'm not comfortable to teach like that on social media because I'm afraid of the technology that can hinder the experience.
Yeah.
But on Thursdays, I want to just, you know, be live and showing that I am actually doing yoga and that's what it can look like. And I don't want that to be in an aesthetic way or whatnot. And I just show them, like, guys, I'm doing that. Like, and if you want to, you can do that too. Like, you don't have to even do that with me because there's more than enough offerings out there. If you wish with me, yes. If you want to, but if you don't, just do that, please.
With the passion for music, being part of that music process, and when did you start? When was that? 2016, 2017? And
you're good.
The evolution of music, like Tigranian music, Eritrean music, how did that? Have you seen a change of the way the music sound is now compared to what it was then? And like even the music that you love is more traditional, kind of Gwaila, kind of. Am I right to say that?
Old school.
Old school. So. How do you feel about that? How does that? Has there been a change? Is there a change of how it sounds today?
Yes. Well, it's just my opinion, of course, but the things that they produce now seems to sell. So what am I to say? However, كنت أنا عايزة مثلا يطلع حدي بكبر الموسيقى عارف كبلوس. The videos have been, you know, crashing. The videos are, most of them are awesome, quality-wise, content-wise also, very good video. But the music quality is not where it's supposed to be. And the artists don't take themselves as serious as I'd like them to take, like their vocal skills, their teachings, you know, if you're someone, like if you identify yourself to be a certain character, you need to be practicing that craft all the time, don't you? I don't get that same responsibility from some artists nowadays, because an artist to me crafts all day. You know, an artist to me, like a physicist is at the laboratory all the time, all the day, all the time, and that's when you call them a physicist. A guitarist is someone who plays the guitar all the time.
Yeah,
he's a guitarist. A vocalist is supposed to better their voice, to have a coach, to have a trainer, you know, to work on their voice. That's where I see the lack, and also I see the weakness in our industry, because now it's about mass consumption. It's not about the art itself.
Yeah, which is scary. That's actually, and technology is taking it to a different stage where people can only just sit down and watch for seconds. Do you feel you
but
have
then
it?
There are some, pardon.
Go ahead.
But then there are some who surprise me, like where I think, oh my God, that's a diamond. Where have you been all the time? Like when they come out now, like Tedalo, like he's crazy, not crazy, but he, I think, does have the potential to revolutionize the industry. So that's where I get sparks of hope, because this is real creation.
Do you feel you've played an impact? You've impacted that as well, like Lye TV, other channels, music channels, Eritrean music channels? You feel like you've made that happen as well, made that transition? Because Lye, if I'm right to say, is you produce music, you make music, and you release the music.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like you've made that change as well? You've actually pushed for certain things that maybe could have been out of your hands, but like you said, didn't realize that.
Yeah. So the company was founded without me, right?
Yeah.
So whatever I am going to contribute to Lye is never to me, but to the owner.
Yeah.
Because he did start the whole thing. And I must say, I'm very, I feel very humbled and lucky to have been a part of the journey, because it is the first ever label, Eritrean label, even Habsha label. You have to imagine that. It's the first company that takes musicians seriously and doesn't exploit them. It's the one company which doesn't take music as money making, but as a craft, and intentionally produces what is it called? Professional music. Like it's, to me, it's I know it's the only studio that does really do professional music with professional people, not just people who do that as a hobby, like professional people. So for that, I must give Lye a big credit, because I think the whole video digitalization started because of Lye. Again, not me. I just hopped on because I had to.
Yeah. No, that's.
So I would give credit to the good things, but not to the bad things, because people take opportunities whenever they can, because money is money and surviving is surviving, and I cannot blame anybody for that.
Yeah. Can I talk more about like Lye has Yogini barrier songs, like, which, you know, obviously I listen to, but how did you acquire that? Because that's an amazing kind of accomplishment to be able to have that.
It's just the
copyright.
Genius of the one because he went there, convinced the family, had everything legally contracted, and it's the first ever to do.
Yeah, it's quality.
What
is the the whole process? Like, let's say I'm a singer. I wanna make a song. I wanna make a track. I want a video. Like, how do you know who to go to, or like how is it? What is the process? What is like a day in the life in LYE?
Oh, it's crazy. I cannot even know, because this is like, creative work is always very flowy.
Yeah.
You schedule at 1, you start at 4. Like, it's and you have to live with it. But everything in the process, you have to trust in the process, because everything, even if you start 3 hours later, the 3 hours you use were of major impact most of the time. But I'm like, I just organized and did some scripts and for the music videos, but I've never been the creative person. So for a musician, it's like coming to the studios, practicing in a room, like how you say when the walls don't give any sound out.
Yeah, I know exactly. Oh. You've done this again. I know it's gonna come because I use the same. I use the same thing. I use the same thing right now. I'm just gonna like diffuses the sound. Doesn't allow the sound to. It lets it bounce, but
it doesn't escape the room. Basically,
it doesn't escape the room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like proofing, soundproofing. Yeah.
Yes.
Soundproofing, but yeah, some will argue that it's not really soundproofing. And anyway.
But yeah, so I cannot even describe what that feels like. Sometimes at 1 وديك most likely 1 a.m. like وديك like sometimes.
So moving forward and moving to today, you're involved with Amanet. What is Amanet? What does Amanet mean to you?
Well, it's actually a beautiful transition, because Amanet to me is the solution to the whole Yaakov thing. Because I understood fast enough that is nothing for me, and I don't think that can solve the core issue, which we address in Amanet, which is community work. And Amanet means istigre. It means hadri. And we see ourselves as the keepers of the legacy, if you will. And what is the legacy? And that will reflect in all our projects that we are involved with. It is to maintain and to guard our identity. مخنياتو اتينا نريو دلنا. First of all, مرجع أمونغو تيام حديد ماتونا نحنا خازتنا احنا. So there's a conflict in identity, because they don't see us as them, we don't see them as us, And on top of that is one problem I see. The other problem I see is that even with us, our generation is the first generation to target with our the deterioration of the identity is very scary. It's a minute نحن نفلطه أي قبلنا له تقدم, like in the 2000s we had a lot of places to go as an Eritrean youngster. Festival نيرنا بعل نيرنا بعل like بعلنا تلمت نيرنا بزحد بعلات نيرنا هجين نركب نيرنا naturally.
Yeah.
هجين it's political issues مستزحة. The separation started. And it's a festival in the government, especially with the pandemic. There's nothing to go to. And what we see is more and more Eritrean youngsters forget that they are Eritrean, and they cannot even enjoy themselves as Eritrean. Let's not forget about being proud of it. Let's forget that. They don't want to be associated with that. And they are going to experience identity crisis.
Yeah.
They can be as white as they want, as black as they want, as as modern as they want. It doesn't matter because it doesn't fit the core of your upbringing. Even those who are adopted
Yeah.
feel the need to connect to their roots. So it's something subliminal we don't quite grasp. And because it is such an important topic, Meninet, we have projects like establishing Tigrinya in schools. So that is actually the project that I am working on with my team. And because, ትምህርቲ ዓርቢ ንኸይድ ነርና ትምህርቲ ትግርኛ ትምህርቲ
Yeah.
but did that help us speaking Tigrinya? No. Entirely, it helped us connect with others. But these opportunities do,
Yeah.
get smaller and smaller as well. But the thought behind that is, what if the classes were graded and acknowledged by the government school, the legal school, everyone who would have the right motive to study harder. And we would have Eritreans growing up speaking Tigrinya.
Yeah.
At least, Tigrinya is just one language, but that's how I can start with, because I know the people who can help me do that. Member of Lye, he's my savior. He's an old Eritrean man, maybe 80s probably, but he looks like 60, because
Yeah.
he his genes are very good and he takes good care of himself. However, this man, he studied Semitic, which is the origin of our language, Tigrinya.
Yeah.
Like Tigrinya, Amharinya, Tigray, Arab, Hebraic, all Semitic languages, and he did all of them. And on top of that, he studied Islamic studies.
Yeah.
He took that in uni too. And he didn't just take it, he taught it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He taught it in university. He's an actual professor. And he has so much knowledge, and he's also very disappointed with us.
Yeah.
Because all the knowledge he acquired, nobody listens to.
Yeah.
So that's the passion project I'm on, to have him on our platform to teach. We're starting already. Another project to manifest more identity-driven people is our history class, in which we made sure it's not political as well.
Yeah.
In which we are going from Axumite time,
Yeah.
until present, in which we can support our Eritrean brothers and sisters who came now, because those are the ones who can teach us, because we can help them integrate here. But now we can put them on the pedestal and tell them, here, we have a job for you, teach us, and you get the money you deserve.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. That's what Amanet is about. And I said we are neutral, political neutral. I made sure to have my counterpart in the team, so that we serve every Eritrean. We don't want to exclude because of an opinion. What is more important to us is being Eritrean.
What do you say to those people that say, "Oh no, she said this, she says that, and she belongs to this political agenda"? What do you say to them when talking about Amanet?
Oh, my agenda is to inspire people, and if because I don't have the need to even defend myself, because it's not that I'm pure, it's just really blank, straight, I'm straight up with everybody.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to hide. And the thing is that it would make me sad if you didn't join because of me, because you are losing a lot of experience. Like, I'm telling you, this is something to me, this is the project that is the solution I have in mind for my people here. Until I find something better, I'm going to do that.
Where do you see Amanet in 5 years? Or even 10 years if you want to go further back? I mean,
Okay,
further forward,
well,
sorry. Or, yeah.
Amanet in 10, let's say 10 years, okay.
Yeah.
By then, I see us being international. I see us cooperating with geniuses like you over the internet, because nowadays the pandemic has shown us we don't need to be face to face all the time. Sometimes it is enough if we can Skype. It is just that I want our core intention to be preserved until then. I want us to be, as I said, international and hundreds and even thousands all over the world. I want us to have our own ground. Like like where we can say this is our place, this is Baitana, and where we can play out Yamana Baria songs Baitana, that would be the best thing ever. But then of course we want that the Eritrean voice in the diaspora is a voice to be heard by Western societies, by governments, by lobbies. I want us to be taken serious, because we are not little people. Like we don't even know where to not look when we go down the streets. Everywhere, Habasha.
You know what hurt me? Google Translate. So I do word of the day every day. Well, I used to anyway. Google Translate. I do word of the day every day, and it was to help my Tigrinya. It was to help me, like, actually learn Tigrinya and actually understand the words. And when I looked at Google Translate, there was nothing for, Eritrean languages, Tigrinya. Even Bilen is almost, dying off. So these aren't in Google Translate, and I had to search, I had to look, and there was a few different organizations that were actually doing, they were trying to basically do translations and dictionary translations so that they can actually even enter the dynamic of Google. So that actually, it hurt me, because look, you can't even translate Tigrinya in Google. So there are things like there are places where I feel like, we don't exist in a sense.
Yeah, and it's sad because first of all, like as I said, وحدات أيقونان تحرك أنا تحركني مرات بزعت علنا, استمهرنا استمهرنا بزعت علنا, but it's in minutes they don't feel like they are supposed to contribute back to their society. That's the ache I have. That's the ache where I see like we need more of Amanet around the world.
So at the moment it's located in Germany.
Exactly.
And there's classes that's happening on history classes, and you're looking to integrate with schools. And
but the first step is that we are creating the platform to have Tigrinya courses or classes sold online. Okay,
so you've kind of answered this. Why is this project so important to you?
It's the solution to me. The solution to me.
Is there anything you want to talk about with anything that, do you reckon we've missed out anything, or is there anything that I should be mentioning?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I myself am very insecure about it yet because I haven't launched. But of course, I would like to talk about the project I'm working on. It's called Yoga Kan Wintana, and sometime I want to have like a yoga center in Ersta, but that's for that. And but now I want to sell a course which is called Win Twice, which is like a mentorship. And you know how people these days always seek for beautifying them, and they would do anything for it. Like they would spend money, time, effort, stress, everything to look beautiful. Pain, but in that course, that's why it's called Win Twice, because Wintu. Hi. No, but it is that I want to show them how that is connected to your inner beauty, in which I show them, I teach them to go through the chakras in a 7 weeks program where they go through their chakras. And I teach them what that chakra is supposed to do, or according to the literature, and how that is connected to your outer beauty. And I'm not saying outer beauty everywhere because I only know hair. I love hair. So, but I can't tell you much about skin diseases, but I can tell you a bit about hair and how that is connected. And like when they walk out of that, they will look better, but they will feel much more beautiful too. And that is how I want to hook them in.
Okay. But I wanna say Galileo Galilei, he I guess monitored the moon, right?
Physicists, artists, psychologists. I don't know, like the people from the past, they really do fascinate me because they do multiple professions, but on a level that baffles me because it's exceeding in each, like everything they touched, everything was perfect.
Yeah, like he contributed to his society when he even cannon bombs from, like he understood how to basically push it out more, if that makes sense. I don't, my science isn't the greatest, but Albert Einstein, when you look at Albert Einstein, had to move from Germany to America, but was renowned for relativity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Frida Kahlo, she was at the time a Cuban artist that dealt with social injuries, when she was 18, when she was young, and also with social impact with communism,
political issues with her husband,
and she integrated with her art. When we talk about these people, I mean, how do you want to be remembered? How does how does Wintu?
Yeah, thank you. I like when people call me Wintu, but honestly, and I don't want to come off as arrogant. It is just that I don't care. Okay, hold on. It's not that I don't care per se. It is just that it took me some time, because before that I wanted to be a president. I wanted to, medal everywhere. I wanted to best everything, but not anymore, because I think I'm really happy, and I don't need other people's approval anymore, or admiration. I used to. I don't know. I don't need anymore. It's just because I'm really Hellenized, but I could never live a day if I not doing what my conscience asks me to do. That's why I think I feel fulfilled enough to not give a damn anymore. I'm just joking, but it's really not that important, because I know that I am helping. I know that I have my mentees where I can experience their betterment, day by day, and it gives the world to me, and I don't need any more than that. But that's it. If I died tomorrow, I will. I still want to do something, okay? But I will. If I died tomorrow, I would have done what I wanted to do. because I served myself, and I got to a place where I can serve, where I serve people, and making money off it too. Like it's something that is, I cannot ask more than that. I cannot ask more than that.
Yeah. Do you wanna tell us where people can find you?
People can find me on Instagram. I have some long videos, some short videos, some lives, reels, stories. I really think that can contribute to one's development, mental development, strength. And on YouTube, if you want, you can subscribe already. I'm going to spread some YouTube videos with some models too, in Tanzania and in English. German, I don't think that if people ask me to do it in German, I would do it. But as of now, it's going to be in Tanzania and English. On YouTube, you can find me Wintana Welday, Sumay Aboin. And on Instagram, you can also find me under Wintana Welday, but as of now, it's Wintu_Solunar.
Solunar as in the moon, yeah? Or as in...
Sun and moon, dual.
Dual, okay.
Dual hemisphere, light and dark.
Thank you for coming on.
Yo, I don't need a coach. I don't need advice.